Christian women. Think about in the Bible, why they saying the women and children will stay back? Why are they protecting the women?
It seems acceptable that the woman who is intellectual can fit into some rules.
Radical feminism views patriarchy as the root of women's oppression.
There are some rules that they avoid. A woman will not be in the oil rig
Or construction.
or construction.
Welcome to Worldview Journal, the podcast chronicling worldviews. We explore the Christian perspective, examine other ideas, and dive into today's hottest topics. Join us on today's episode, Feminism and the Christian Woman. Let's jump right in.
Hey, you're welcome to Worldview Journal podcast. We haven't been here in a while, and we're appearing on video for the first time. If we put it out. But if we did put it out and you're hearing this, just know that there are plans. I'm here, Manasseh, Omoli, Main, anyone. And Felix, my brother, is also here. Yeah. Daniel couldn't make it, but we're hoping that he can join us on the next one. We have a lot to talk about, and we're already going, and we forgot that we've not done the intro. So this is the intro. I used to be more, more apologetic towards feminism, but much less now because...
But I'm saying the three. Yeah, three now.
The three.
Egalitarianism, complementarianism, and patriarchy. In terms of male, female, kind of how it should be within the church, family. And
no, patriarchy.
Okay.
1,005%.
The reason why I said so is because complementarianism and patriarchy have some similarities.
Exactly. There's already in biblical patriarchy there is complementarianism.
Yes,
based on the rules that God has
but
given
the concept of complementarianism is being attacked by those who adhere to biblical patriarchy.
Exactly,
because of the softness.
Exactly,
the John Pipers. Because I was just looking at it now, so that he said, I asked Grok, what are the issues with complementarianism that people like Eric Kohn and Brian Swav have and all that, and he says it was coined by John Piper and Ray Grudem and others as a new as a new term to sound less offensive than patriarchy. You get the idea? This kind we don't want
is patriarchy itself offensive?
That's which had negative connotations due to feminist propaganda. So feminists were able to successfully demonize patriarchy. So that we will now not
when you hear patriarchy, you see that there's a problem with it fundamentally.
Exactly.
Which is wrong.
Eric Kohn calls it a halfway house of feminism light. A surrender to egalitarianism that appeases feminists while pretending to hold the line. Swav agrees it's fairly novel and fails to account for the full sweep of scripture, nature, and historic Christian tradition. That's basically pre-1990.
Okay.
Now, the second issue they have with it is that it separates roles from ontology. That's from nature. Making restrictions seem arbitrary. For example, you say complementarianism treats gender roles as accidental add-ons
or social constructs.
Yes, that God arbitrarily said women can't pastor even if they were gifted, disconnecting them from created male-female natures. For example, my lady Ali Beth Scott Stocky, they say, who is a complementarian, they say women could pastor if God allowed it, implying interchangeability. But Kohn sees this as egalitarian logic sneaking in. You understand? It's almost like if not say God just say make una no pastor. Don't do that. So he said God fitted men, women differently in essence. Men are naturally suited for rule or for leadership. Women for helpmeet, for glory. Roles flow from being, not divine fiat alone or something like that. One thing about feminism that there's no uniform ideas in terms of practicality. They might just have it ideologically, but even ideologically there are differences. But when it comes to practicality, that's why they say first wave. I only know second wave.
The way I classify it in my head is traditional feminism and radical feminism. That's how I classify it. So the traditional one for me, in summary, I know I'm ignorant, but in summary, the traditional one is fighting against the subjugation of women and fighting for equal opportunities. You understand? Then the radical feminism goes to the extent of fighting against men, even though they would say they are not doing that. You understand? Misandry, right? So hate of men and fighting against men. So that's more like what radical feminism does. And it also includes fighting for equal opportunity. You understand? So equal opportunity is the common denominator between radical feminism and traditional feminism in my head. So what's your take?
All right. So let me tell you, I'll first. So I want to make a quick distinction.
Yeah.
There are different types of feminism, and with each of them having distinct ideas about the roots of women's oppression, and how to achieve equality. So their goal is achievement of equality. But how? To what extent or where differs. For example, liberal feminism.
Okay.
It seeks equal opportunities through legal and policy reforms. Right? For example, in education, work, and political participation, without overthrowing existing social structure.
Okay.
So without, if they deem the existing social structure to be patriarchal, they say you can keep your patriarchy, but
we are creating a space for ourselves.
Equal opportunities.
Okay.
Right. That's for liberal. The radical feminism views patriarchy as the root of women's oppression.
Problem. Okay, so men has come.
And calls for a complete restructuring of society, especially in family and sexuality relations. I'm defining this so that you can now determine what you think applies to the feminists we have in Nigeria, right? Even though all of them I disagree with, by the way, but I'm just saying.
Same.
Number 3, the Marxists or socialist feminists, feminism. These ones link women's oppression to capitalism and class exploitation, arguing that liberation requires ending both patriarchy and economic inequality. So they are going beyond just ending patriarchy, but there's also an economic flavor.
Isn't that worse than radical?
To the women's oppression. That's why usually such kind of radical feminists are usually Marxists also in their ideology. Right.
Yeah.
Then we have cultural feminism, right? Celebrates women's values and experiences. Viewing traits often associated with women, like care and empathy. They see all of these things as socially beneficial and worth elevating. So this one is the one that I would have almost agreed with.
Yes.
Whereby they are saying it's just like there's a sense in which they feel that the women role is being played down.
Okay.
So we should also recognize the unpaid.
Why do you almost agree? What happens to the remaining tiny percentage?
Yes, no, because they come under the idea of feminism.
Okay.
Yes, and because you should recognize. I'm getting there.
It doesn't have to be feminism in order for women to be recognized.
Exactly. So they are cultural because they celebrate women's values and experiences. Why shouldn't you celebrate it? That's normal. You need to be a feminist
in order to do that. I understand.
You view traits often associated with women. When I say men love feminine women, right?
Yeah, of course.
Do you get the idea?
Yeah.
So if your femininity is accentuated. Is that's what we want.
Yeah.
Are we celebrating Mother's Day?
Exactly.
All of these things, yes,
there's even International Women's Day. There are so many. There are 2 Mother's Days: National Women's Day, Day of the Girl Child.
Exactly. So they say that because they believe that it's socially beneficial to do this, to recognize. So, but why are you a cultural feminist? So that's why.
Do you need to be cultural feminist? It's almost like you're saying the Bible does not support cultural feminism.
Yes, so
therefore you need to create that category. Yes,
or they want to say feminism. So some people actually say the Bible encourages feminism, and it is this kind of feminism they are saying. But you know that you're just one type out of many types. So when you hear feminism, people would think you're saying the radical feminist is supported by the Bible.
So the question,
or the liberal feminist
is that the last group?
No, there are
2 more.
There are 3 more.
Oh, what? Wow.
Black intersectional feminism.
I've heard of that one, but I've never really understood it. Okay,
the race is basically central.
It's basically intersectional feminism is basically how different groups of women relate. Basically, there is black women, the hierarchy. Basically, there's black women, there's white women, there is other races, Latinx.
Yes. So their fight is that you have been focusing more on
one
white middle
white
class women.
Oh my God.
So it highlights how race, class, sexuality, and gender intersect, arguing that mainstream feminism has often centered only on white middle class women's experiences. So please focus on us and other races. Then ecofeminism connects environmental degradation with the domination of women.
How?
Asserting that both stem from patriarchal and exploitative worldviews. See your question, but exactly how? They will have their arguments for that. Then postmodern / queer feminism
postmodern, I know
challenges the idea of a single female identity, arguing that gender is fluid and socially constructed, not biologically fixed. That's why I can feel like a woman
and dress like a woman. Therefore, I'm a woman,
and so I am valid.
AKA, a woman is whoever identifies as a woman.
Exactly.
Trash.
Exactly. But we now have waves of feminism, right? And we have the first wave, the second wave, the third wave, and the fourth wave. And some scholars are now identifying an emerging fifth wave. It will never end. By the time it's next 100 years, maybe we would have had the 10th wave to show you how unstable and how unnecessary. It says this fifth wave is marked by systemic reform, inclusivity, and intersectional solidarity beyond gender alone.
Make I shock you. Some people in this spectrum of feminism,
yes,
will be fighting some other people.
Oh yes. I can bet you that the cultural feminists and radical feminists will not agree. Liberal feminists they will not agree with radical on many grounds. You understand? The first wave was like 19th to early 20th century. The second wave was like 1960s to 1980s. The third was like 1990s to 2000s. The fourth was like 2010s to the present.
Wow.
You understand? And what were the distinct objectives of this different wave? The first wave fought for legal rights. That's where you should be able to vote.
Yeah,
so people think women were voting since. This is just a 19th century fight.
Yeah.
Basically, women's suffrage, property, and education. Then the second wave, it expanded to social and cultural equality, where we now have workplace rights. You have reproductive freedom. I'm sure that's where contraceptive and everything, and challenging gender roles. So gender roles began to be challenged beyond just we should be able to do this. Now we are not saying why are we even doing this, or we should be able to also do those or those kind of stuff, right? Then the third wave emphasized diversity and individuality, recognizing race, class, and sexuality in women's experiences. And the fourth wave was driven by digital activism and global accountability, tackling sexual harassment, gender violence, and online misogyny. So which one looks at which one applies to Nigeria?
After this breakdown, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't think the last three, I don't think Nigeria is there yet.
The last three?
Yeah, I think the last three.
Online misogyny, tackling online misogyny.
Okay.
Gender violence.
I think two of them or one of them is not part of the whole intersectional number one, and then the one that talks about trans and all of that is not quite here. I know, yes, there are some trans people in Nigeria, but it's not quite here. You understand? But then there are people in all the groups.
So the one that is prominent in Nigerian Twitter, I think is the fourth wave.
Which one?
The fourth wave.
Which one is it?
Tackling sexual harassment, gender violence, and online misogyny.
Yes. Okay, yes. That one is more. That one is more than radical.
Yes.
Although I've seen a lot more of the
This
radical.
is even the wave I'm talking about.
Oh, the waves, okay.
But for the types, it's radical.
Radical, okay.
Radical, there are some that, many of them, when they say I'm a witch, or I'm a feminist witch, or those kind of, they are usually radical feminists, because the problem is patriarchy.
Yeah.
I've seen many of the arguments. Patriarchy is at the center of their attacks. They say that's the problem we have when we have a patriarchal this thing. That's so patriarchal and all this kind of stuff.
So now, what is the church's view of gender roles, and how can Christian women engage with feminism?
So I think it said that God created man and woman. He created them male and female, right? So God was the one that designated sexuality.
So yeah, we're talking on gender roles now.
Yes. We are starting with that. So I'm trying to start from the beginning, right?
Yes.
God created man and woman. Distinct.
Yeah.
Man was the one who was created first. The woman was created from man. You understand? And the idea of leadership or headship was situated before the fall. Some people try to say it is a product of the fall.
And it's a role. It's not like
no
I big pass you.
No.
Or it's not I first you.
It's first in the nature.
Nature, yes.
Then the role is attached to. It's just like
what I'm essentially saying is it's not a thing of boasting.
No. I mean, it's not. It's God who did God was the one who created.
Yes.
You understand? And so if there's anyone that should be boasting, is God.
It's just like God made us to eat. You will not now be boasting. Oh, I can eat.
Yeah.
You will now be you look at a plant that doesn't eat like you and be saying, I can eat.
Exactly. And the roles are actually, is it? So when you say you don't envy somebody, the roles are not enviable.
Enviable, yeah.
When they are done apart from the help of God. You look at the male and you break it down. What is required of a man? It's not something that a man should bask in as something to oppress anybody. It's like a big thing to ask someone to head, or someone should be the one who is who occupies leadership in the family, in the church, and otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for the woman. Do you know what it is to manage
a home?
It's a big ask.
I don't think men are biologically able to do it the way women do.
No, they can't.
Not built to.
Have you seen? That's you need to just look at statistics as to. We'll go into some statistics. I actually prepared them so that it won't be like. You notice that having the father and mom train up a child or being present, right, is the benefit or the outcome of the children is much better than when someone comes up with a single parent, either father or mother. I would even want to argue, especially more in the mother sense, right? Because there is a fatherly role that the woman cannot play, and there's also a motherly role that a man cannot play.
Yeah.
That's why even if those children come out well, there are usually some father figures
around
that
them
play their role, or there are some mother figures that play the role to complement. So God has put in, there's a uniqueness to gender roles that Christians must agree with.
Yeah.
And so when there is any form of ideology that tries to shake the foundations of what the Bible has established,
it becomes an aberration.
It's a big problem. It's something we should frown at. And when we now look at the New Testament, right, we see how it talks about the man being the head of the woman, Christ being the head of the man, and you see where it says like the woman should keep silent, and you see where they say that I do not permit a woman to preach. Then if a woman has anything, she should ask her husband at home. And why are they not saying that about men? Because there's something distinct. Before we start trying to expound on the scripture and what it means, I'm saying that there is something about, why are they calling women workers at home in Titus? Why are men not being called that?
The workers at home.
Why are men called to love their wives as Christ loved the church? Why are they not saying, wives, love your husbands?
Proverbs 31 has a little bit about men. It just like half of a verse talks about her husband sits at the city gates. So him too, he has his own type of rule.
Yes.
You understand?
So the pattern
city
here,
council or something like that.
The pattern here is that if the lines are blurred and there's no distinction, we shouldn't fix into scripture what is in there.
What is in there,
When the Bible says women be workers at home, we should ask, why are they not saying that about men?
About men.
When they say that a man should provide for his family, some people say it says human being, not man as per gender.
That's adding to the text.
You understand?
Yeah.
So some people, when they say husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church, wives submit to your husbands, it is not speaking about the fact that the wife shouldn't love their husbands, but it's speaking about there's a distinct role, that's peculiar to the woman compared to the man. The man is also to submit, but to submit, right, to Christ. And there's the earlier part of the text that people say that used to justify. They say submit to yourselves as husband and wife. It's speaking as believers, like as believers.
So as a believer, I can also submit to my wife.
Yes, in that context. Yes. But when it comes to the role, or when it comes to in the context of the home, playing the role as husband and wife, you are to what? To lay down your life for your wife. You understand? That text that speaks about submitting to one another, right? The submitting to one another. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Was like the beginning of further breakdown that Paul was going to do. It's just like saying, see, believers submit to one another. Then Paul now started going to the context in which he's saying you should submit to one another. So it's almost like in the family setting, husbands, wives, blah blah blah. In the context of master and slave, employer and employee, submit. Blah, blah. In the context of, so it was like now breaking down the contexts of how we submit to one another in whatever place we find ourselves.
Okay.
You understand? So it's like he first gave a generic submit to, as believers we should submit to one another. We are under Christ.
Yes.
So husbands, love your wives. Wives, submit to your husbands. Slaves, submit to your masters. Your masters, do this, that kind of thing. So that's the idea. So I'm saying you look at the whole of scripture, and even the manner with which leadership was conducted, and you see that it was reserved for men.
For men, yeah.
Where you have that outlier is usually an outlier.
Is actually an aberration, rather.
Yes, and no, I'm saying like Deborah, and people quote Deborah and somebody and say that they were leaders.
Still,
it was under judgment.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It was still an aberration. It was under
Israel was in a state that we don't want Nigeria to be in. You know what that state is?
While
everybody did what was God, right in their eyes.
So while God worked His purpose through that, it doesn't mean that was the normative.
No, it was not the normal thing. So people that say, what of Priscilla and Aquila? She was not in the church. She didn't. It
wasn't in the context of the church.
It was within in an informal setting.
Yeah,
right.
And that can
it was alongside her husband, and it can happen, and it happens.
It happens a lot. Yeah,
you understand? So people.
I love my mothers in the church who have directed me in that same way.
Yes,
you understand?
Absolutely. I mean, if you are a worker at home as a wife, are you saying you will not teach your male child?
Of course not. Of course.
I don't know if you get.
Yeah, I get.
We are saying that the Bible actually makes those distinctions and contexts
clear. Yeah. So that's with respect to gender role.
Yes.
I think we've already answered the second part. Explore how Christian women engage with feminism.
So many of them. So let me be honest, right? There is something about the commands of God that are not palatable to the flesh.
Yes.
So let's be honest, right? And I'll say it on a man's part also. It seems so stressful that the primary responsibility of a man is to provide and to protect his family. It can be overwhelming as a man, you know that, right?
Yeah, of course.
It can be really overwhelming, and that's why the idea of a woman bringing 50-50 is appealing. Now, there's a difference between when it is a way of assistance, right? But where it's not like a rule,
when it now becomes,
there's an expectation. If you don't bring money to this house, then you are less of a wife. I don't know if you get the idea. Now, that happens whereby the resources of the woman, as like we bring it together and all that, and the man. But I'm saying there's a tempting way. Have you not heard when they say, I go like be house husband though. If my wife can be doing all the work. Because truly to the flesh, it can be daunting, to play the role that God has given you. On the flip side, for the woman, when they say that you should be workers at home, it's not a small job. That's why, personally, this is my view, right? If not because of how economically...
I'm sorry, on the flip side,
yes,
right? Men can also help, but it cannot become a primary role.
No, it's not. No,
them,
no. I mean, you love your wife, right? And you want to give her a context whereby she can be able to... let me explain. For example, if I know that I won't be available for some things because of the role that I'm supposed to play, and my wife... seeing the things on the ground, there are some things that are overwhelming to her. Naturally, I want to see what I can do to give her some sense of relief.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
For example, if I know that I have that's why I love community, by the way. I love family context that you have. That's
other people around
that kind of stuff. So many of these things help, right? So I wanted to be my wife is so tired. Okay. I'm speaking in an urban setting now, modern setting. So, okay, let's just, you don't need to do anything extra. Let's just do this and eat and go on. Or let's go out and just eat out. I'll pay for it. Or let's order. Now, I'm trying to speak to a way that even those that don't have money can also do something. So, it could just be that any little assistance. I want to be able to fetch this water for my wife.
I understand. But it doesn't automatically come.
But there's
primary.
A way, yes, there's a way that the woman also can now begin to expect that when the expectation is not met, you now feel so disappointed. Whereby, no, you should be able to assist me to... No, first and foremost, while also I don't expect you, or I'm not putting the burden on you to protect or provide for the family, you understand? But if peradventure from your industry, you are able to make money or do something and you bring to the family, okay, thank you. But it's not like it's your responsibility. So there's no pressure. So if I don't get from you, I am not like, what are you bringing or what are you helping? You're not even helping me in my role to protect and provide. You understand?
Yeah.
On the flip side, for the woman, if you are supposed to be primarily a worker at home, you understand? And there's a name they call it now, traditional families, right?
Traditional,
whereby a woman stays at home, the man also and all that. And so women, so there's a way Christian women are appealing or are embracing some arguments. If you meet them, they will not say they are feminists, by the way, but they are appealing to some arguments of feminism that bring some relief to what their flesh, is struggling for. Do you understand? Yeah. Just like I was telling you about the man, right? Your flesh doesn't want to have to not... I mean, I'm working in the home, my children, my husband. It's almost like I'm here to just serve my husband or serve my family. Is that all my life? That kind of thing. And meanwhile, they're also seeing the temptations of women that don't give a damn about marriage or this thing. And they are traveling the world or maybe are just doing things. And like
the same thing happens for men as well.
Oh,
because there are some days when you don't want to man. You just don't want to man.
Sincerely.
Like you just...
Yes.
You know, but you have to.
You have to. That's the key word. So you just have to. So I'm saying at those moments, it is tempting. And so you see, women they say that men are emotional, right? We are all emotional beings, but the way we respond to it is different. And that is what makes us man and woman.
Yes.
So the way women will respond to it almost be like you hate them when you are talking about the primacy, or if you are trying to speak against the arguments that feminists are bringing in, that they are embracing. How will you say that I should not? My life is in the house and the kitchen, and we are not.
That's not worse.
We are saying the home is all encompassing. It's not just about kitchen. So even if you have an industry, we are saying that it shouldn't be to the detriment of the home. That's why I wrote an article on it. I'm saying there are some times when you see that your industry, your time is, when you see something is suffering between anything that is taking you out of the house and in the home, if one has to be shut down, it shouldn't you shouldn't need to think twice about what should go down
Yes,
for the woman.
yes,
You understand?
it's true.
But if you think that nothing is suffering, so long as the primary thing is being that
Okay.
matters. You
Which now,
understand?
I think that would. Are you still on your point?
Yes, I'm
Brings
still
us to
sorry.
the next.
Yes. Yeah, so that's that. Although some biblical patriarchies frown against it because they feel like it's a slippery slope, whereby you now get to a point that so I can now walk outside the home since I'm balancing it. But if they are true to themselves, there are some things that are truly suffering
They're fighting, yes.
due to your absence
Yes.
as a woman in the same. Let's see. Do you know how clingy toddlers are? It's God that put it in them. Suddenly you are dropping them in
To
daycare.
cement them in the home.
Yes, you're dropping them, but there's that nurturing aspect that they are craving for, that God has put into the
In them,
woman.
yes.
And so when they are not always available, it's a problem. You understand? So if you are, that's why I'm just upfront. So if not because of economic distance, which I believe that it could just be for, you might just say, okay, let it be an exception, but let it not be just the style of your life, right? Where a woman walks away from the home continuously for the total a family life. You see, I'm saying that my default state is that women have gifts and talents, but it must be expressed within the context of the home, or whatever expression or use of those talents should be to the extent that the home is well managed.
Well managed, okay.
You understand? So, for example, if you think you are a good writer or you're a good this thing, anything that just takes you away from the watch and management, I mean, who do you say a good manager is? Someone who is making sure that things are well run.
Yeah.
In the family, and that can be in different forms. You understand? Because of a Proverbs 31 woman, right? Because of the status of her husband and their status, at that level, she looked at the most things that were effective for her to run the home. And at our own level, also, we can also employ that. But the key thing here is that there's the primacy that comes with the role of men and women that are distinct.
Yeah. So now, I think we've answered a lot of the questions here and a lot of the points here. So the only one I want to talk about, which I think you touched on a little bit, but I want to go further, is what do you think about women pursuing education, career leadership, while remaining faithful to the biblical view? Okay,
so for example, right, if you I just want to I'm trying to get my thoughts clear, or rather I'm trying to pick my words so that I won't. So if, for example, right, if everything that I also want to train my children, Lord willing, is that you must be able to answer the why you do whatever you do. Yeah. Why do you want to have a career? What do you mean by career? Because I also defined it in one of my articles. Do you know that there's a way I can define being a worker at home is a career. You understand?
I think so too.
Yes, it's a career. So I don't like that separate designation of women that want to have a career and want to be. The point is that your career, even as a man, is that you want to first and foremost do God's will.
God's will.
You understand? That's first. Secondly, education. Education is not restricted to formal education. So I won't speak against women that want to be educated, because education is something that happens in every kind of context. When older women are teaching the younger women to how to love their husbands, they are being educated. It might seem as if I'm trying to go away from what the obvious.
But you're right. But then let's talk more in the aspect of skills. Yes. And I'm seeing where it comes in, right?
Yes.
The skills can still be applied to the building of the home.
Absolutely. It's just like someone that can sing and saying that they must or play music. You know, there's a way. If someone has a talent in singing, say, you want to be a music artist. You understand? What if God wants you to do ministry in the prisons, that by your singing, they listen to you? Do you get the point? Or you are so good with your hand and you feel that suddenly you are supposed to be, is it a carpenter or a mechanic? Okay, what is that you are trying
craftsperson?
Yes, but what if as a man or a woman, or even as a woman, you're able, do you get the point? I'm saying where you express these things
is best in the home.
one. And two, why you learn anything or why you use anything should be towards furthering your fulfillment of the road that God has given you. So whatever it is.
So are you saying that it's wrong for people to chase like careers? For example, if a woman is part of the Senate, for example, a senator.
So I have my own personal convictions.
Or convictions.
Yes. Okay. So my convictions are this, right? First and foremost, there are some positions that I believe are restricted or should be restricted to the male gender. And I will explain why briefly, very quickly. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you look at an ideal country, what do you call an ideal country? Basically the one that is directly administered by God. Which example do we have?
Israel,
yes, right? I'm not saying, do you get the point? Like where God was the one directing the laws and the this.
Yeah, I understand.
So ask him
monarchy under God.
Yes. So while we say that the issue of this rules is only in the family and in the church, right? And I ask, why are you stopping at that? Why don't you take it to society? Because the kind of society that was ruled by God, that was the leadership setup. Were there women there that were the leaders, except for when they abandoned God? Are you with me, sir?
I get.
So that's why I have a problem with some kind of occupations. So I'm not saying the woman cannot chase anything, but it must go through the lens of what God would have you do, based on your femininity. Or do you get the idea?
But it must eventually conform to it.
Yes. For example, I don't understand why you are a policewoman. Even though I might have loved ones that are police people, and I will not speak. I'm getting somewhere. Or why you are in the military because you feel that maybe you have some traits that fit into that role or something, or you love your country so much. But look at the Bible. I'm saying, and now I'm speaking to Christians. Other people can have their views, but Christian women, think about in the Bible, why they saying the women and children will stay back? And they're looking for able-bodied, even teenagers. Able-bodied
men and young men, yeah.
Why are they protecting the women? Why don't I say women that can fight? Oh yeah, come now. Is it not usually based on maybe necessity and there's no that women are even involved? But on a normal setup, when it comes to military, for example, it's not a conversation that women can also do it. It's like, hello, please. We are so precious to have to face the dirty world and you understand, and children.
Which brings me to this argument that equality for everybody, not just the Christian woman, right? Okay. It seems acceptable that the woman who is intellectual can fit into some rules. You understand? Can be the MD of a company and all of that, in quotes.
Yeah.
But there are some rules that they avoid.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
A woman will not be in the oil rig.
Or construction.
Or construction.
There are so many occupations that they say 99% of the people are men.
You understand?
Why are we not having women there?
So that argument falls apart.
Yes.
Completely. And then I see how career can fit into the building of the home. Because I have a friend, right, whose wife, she's an educator and she focuses on educating young girls. You understand? So of course, whatever, it starts from her home.
Yeah.
She writes books as well for children and she used those books to educate her own child.
That's beautiful.
You understand? So that's such a beautiful example, and I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't see why women or Nigerian women or even Nigerian Christian women today would look at that and say, nah, this is not, it. So there's a difference between patriarchy and toxic patriarchy, right? Patriarchy is not a bad thing. Patriarchy is biblical. We've painted it. The progression of feminism has painted this as this evil thing that we must do away with. And
simply, you don't like God's created order.
Basically,
that male headship is something that it was not male that established it. Yeah. Bad males might have now taking advantage, and we have this toxic thing that we are saying. But it was take it up with God. That's why I love honest feminists that actually hate the Bible.
Yes. They
actually say it's patriarchal. Yes, they say it's patriarchal.
Basically, feminism is incompatible.
So this is my last statement, but I will not go into the statistics. So basically, what we are arguing is that God's design for gender roles is not arbitrary or oppressive.
Yeah,
it is protective. It is stabilizing and glorifying. And our argument is that the moment we deviate from it, what we get is disorder, decline, and spiritual compromise. And the statistics I went to tell you was showing how people, even churches that have deviated from this, what the outcome has been. The same LGBTQ arguments from scripture, for example, is the same arguments that feminists point to, or feminist apologists that try to say that they say there is no Jew or Gentile to try and say that a woman can become a pastor.
That was speaking about the faith.
Yes, no. So the way they took it out of context is how other LGBTQ guys also look at scriptures and also take them out of context. So it's like if you want to be consistent with taking things out of context, the end is spiritual compromise. And there are lots of that, which I think another time we'll speak about. Different denominations that have gone down, and also those that when it comes to family stability, those that have the egalitarians and everything, compare them to this in terms of stable marriages, compared to those who are patriarchal in nature. You see how more divorces have increased.
Oh, that's what the statistics were. Okay, that's
that kind of.
We'll talk more about
it. You see, even the societal divorce rate, single motherhood, households, fatherless homes, youth mental health. When there's no stability of father and mother together in the family,
I actually saw something that talks about the decline of the family and how it has affected mental health in America. I actually saw something about it.
So there's so many. So this thing is not just, these are statistics that at least it is not, we are not the one that manufactured them. These are the things that are proving the fact that the moment you deviate from what God has said, don't be surprised with whatever you see.
And data doesn't have agenda.
No. It's just there. Yes.
So yeah, we've come to the end of this. We'll see you on the next one. I am Manasseh and
Felix
right beside me.
Thank you.
Peace out.